If we're going to sell Morgan and Rogers, I'd sell him tomorrow rather than middle of August. I'm not scared of selling any Villa player. Every player has got a price, and if a club meets the price that we have for Morgan Rogers goes. Sorry to say it, but that's just the cold hard truth.
We don't want to sell Morgan Rogers unless that 100 million quid is coming in your pocket and you can have all the broccoli a man can eat. It's not, it's going into the club.
Thanks everybody for coming. I've got this massive flag from Max Stokes with nowhere to hang it, so I'm just gonna wear it. Kendrick, how are you? You recovered from Istanbul yet?
I've just seen this fella here from the John Townley emotional crying video over here. It is a mistake.
Oh, I need my mouth tonight.
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, I'm back to normal life.
Bit tipsy?
Not enough.
Okay. Well, we'll sort that in a little bit. John, how are you? Feet don't touch the floor, but neither do mine, to be fair.
No, they don't. Can I ask straight away what the seat is at the front?
You can, yeah. It's so a fella called Chunk came earlier and met me here, who somehow has got his hands on a few of the treats from the seats from the Trinity, and said, "Do you want one?" I said, "Yeah." And that was that. I think it's one from the press area, by the way, because it's got the big stickers on the front.
It's not mine. So
That'd have been good, wouldn't it?
yeah.
We're here today to talk about. It's not an end of season review because we're going to talk about Istanbul, obviously, and a few other bits and pieces as well. We'll take some questions in the second half of the show. We did have a link on the screen, but I don't think it worked. So if you want to go to the mailbag and ask some questions, please do. I'm like a roasting little tomato. It's so hot in here, don't you think?
I'm wearing one of these Founders t-shirts, which
It's very nice, yeah.
so breathable. Available in XXL.
And available in a suitcase over there. So if anyone wants one, come and speak to me afterwards and I'll sort you out. You've got to pay, obviously. John, have you recovered from Istanbul yet?
No, and to be honest, what are we? 350 people here. Thanks to everyone for turning out. There's people to my left, to my right, in the middle. It's quite crazy. I think I am recovering now from
Are you over it?
winning a trophy. Over it sounds like I'm forgetting it. I don't want to forget it. I don't ever want to be over it. But yeah, I think it's settled in, put it that way. What an incredible season it was. To be fair, even from the start of it, yeah, we obviously had a horrific first 5-6 games, but we always knew that this trophy was the aim. It was my aim. It's the only thing I wanted out of this season, whether we finished 13th or 4th in the end. So yeah, a tremendous season and one which I don't think could have got any better. So yeah, I'm still ecstatic by it, and to be honest, I'm still surprised we beat Man City away on the final day. How did that happen?
Yeah, so my head is still in Istanbul, and obviously we had our royal appointment. I don't know whether we've mentioned it as well. I don't think we'll go into it again. But we've now got like this relationship where we can just kind of click our fingers and get what we want. So I'll bring you a little gift. If my barkeep wants to come over and bring us a gift for memories of Istanbul and the streets of around our hotel. A little bottle of FS. Oh, lovely. There you go. Have one of those. John, do you want to? Come on. John, what were I know we've obviously spoken about it since, but your trip to Istanbul was obviously very different to ours. I don't think I've ever seen you sip a beer before.
You have now.
I have now.
I don't know if I had one in Istanbul or not. It was very much work mode for me, so yeah, I've said a million times, I won't keep boring people with it, but obviously it's a massive privilege to do what I do in this era of Villa. Incredibly proud of what I do, but then also I like to savour each part, and it sounds cringe, like Emery says, you've got to enjoy the journey, enjoy the way, but it's so true. Like even going to like Deventer, like one of, I don't know how many fans are out there, maybe 1,000. It's incredible to have those memories, even back to when we played Hibernian, 3 years ago or so, but to have that journey now is like nearly as good as winning the trophy, if that makes sense, just following that journey. Yeah. So yeah, that isn't why I don't drink, by the way, but at least I can remember it all.
You've been in the job for 3 years, and what are 3 years? It's like, who's been in there? Bill Howell, Vince Ellis, Matt Kendrick, Greg Evans, Ashley Priest. Your boys took one hell of a beating. How have you landed this so early?
It's your fault, to be fair.
Well, it's not. It's your fault for being a little kind of sad Villa obsessive from the age of 11, doing all your little notebooks and all this. Oh, I want to cover Villa winning the European trophy. And you've done it, mate. I am genuinely so chuffed for you.
Thanks,
Bless
mate.
you.
Yeah. You're only so extra drunk.
Yes.
What's this I've heard about from your mate who's doing compilations on Twitter? What's all that about?
Oh, I don't know. That was probably copyrighted material that I've since deleted. Just like little videos. I did one for like the playoffs, which back then felt like
The hype video.
Yeah. Felt like a Europa League final and the transitions and stuff. But it's
My love letter to Scott Sinclair.
it's enough of me. We need to talk about Villa and winning a trophy.
No, we've come a long way, haven't we? What a season it's been. It's such an odd season as well, I find. It feels like 2 or 3 rolled into one. The start was terrible. The middle was brilliant. The last bit wasn't brilliant. And then the last bit was amazing. Like, it felt like a few seasons rolled into one for me.
Yeah, it feels like that from kind of I think you basically put it right there, Dan. But I actually think that because we've been in Europe for the last 3 years, each season that we've been in Europe does feel really long. I actually think this season went as quick as any that I can remember. But there's so many moments in it where you felt really low, and I think it's really hard to explain to fans of other clubs, because they would just think, finish 4th and winning the Europa League, oh, that must have been an incredible ride, which it was. But losing at Wolves, losing to Chelsea 4-1, the start that we had, which was so bad, the Spurs game, that wasn't long ago, and we were furious about that, and part of me is still annoyed about it. But the high obviously outweighs everything that happened. But it wasn't a smooth journey, it was very up and down really, wasn't it?
But Matt, I remember you saying after that Chelsea game that Villa could be done here. And listen, the post-match show is always meant to be the reaction of the here and now. It's not the bigger picture stuff. So Tottenham, we were fuming, but Tottenham happened for a reason, right? And you said after we saw the trophy lift that you were doing your little Facebook YouTube live from the stadium, and you were like, Emery knows best. Emery knows best. And he does.
He absolutely does, but it tests your patience and your faith when you go to Molineux against, I'd say, the worst Premier League team. I think we were probably worse than them in 2016, and obviously Derby were worse than them years before. And then we follow that up with Liam Rossini's only huddle-based win. And then that Tottenham game, and I was actually the voice of reason in that post-match Tottenham. People were like, you should be fuming. I'm like, I kind of am fuming, but let's just take stock of where we are and see what's to come. It's bizarre the way we've gone about it. We've finished top 4, we've won a European trophy. We've been absolutely spectacular, and we've been absolutely shite along the way, and it's just, who could do it this way other than Aston Villa?
Yeah, it's been an incredible season. John, do you remember the R word coming out in the first, not from us, questions we were getting every week about, could Villa be in a relegation battle? Like, come on.
Yeah, we had a relegation form, didn't we? And
yeah, it was bad.
It was the Europa League that helped us get through that, beating Bologna and then following up against Fulham, and international break that we had. We beat Burnley, didn't we? Feyenoord, and we got battered for the first half, but then got through it. So a season is a very long season, especially when you're in Europe, and it's something that Emery obviously knows so well. I don't know, whenever I think about these things, we'll talk about transfers, we'll talk about form coming up, form coming down. As long as we have Unai, it's fine, like, we'll be okay. And you look at some of the players that we had this season, I don't think we would touch some of them this summer, with respect to Jadon Sancho and other players. Like, yeah, they've played their part. It's a very small part though, and he is still part of sorry to pick on Jadon Sancho, which is an example, but he's part of a squad that has delivered us, well, the best season of my lifetime and the best season for decades, since now. So yeah, Unai is the key, and we have him. He's locked down, and that's the most important thing.
New contract, do you think?
Why not? Obviously, we are protected in that sense. He's got a long-term deal. He's paid very well, and we give him more than what probably meets the eye in terms of just a long contract as well. Speaking to different people, the only reason why he would leave Villa is if it is the top job, and even then, I think, well. And as we've said it before, Real Madrid, Barcelona, etc. I say etc. There aren't many, by the way, that can offer him more than what we can. and even then, all the power he would leave to join those teams. So I'm happy. He appears to be happy. And the way he talks as well about the North Stand closing and the long-term vision of the club, I do genuinely believe that his mind is here at Villa. Next season is really important because it feels like it would be a huge opportunity for us to get Champions League again. Getting it 2 years ago would be really quite something. But Unai, yeah, he is the master. He is the key to all of this, and we're very lucky to have him.
What's the success? I've had a few. What's the succession plan then, John? Because Europa League top 4. That's chip paper now. That's yesterday's news. What are Villa doing to make sure that when that fateful day arrives and our Lord and Master departs, what does it look like in terms of making sure that we can continue the momentum?
I think that's a difficult topic to answer. First, because we don't want to, but then secondly, I remember when we spoke about Alaba replacing Monchi, and our concern was, what does this mean for the structure of the footballing department? But it quickly became apparent that had no link. It's interesting because obviously Emery has taken us to a point where we've now won a European trophy. We've qualified for the Champions League 2 years out of 3. That's why I say the next season I think is really important, because you want to continue that momentum. If we drop back into the Europa League, that's still, who are we to say that's nothing? Exactly, yeah. Even the conference, if you win the conference, you haven't spoken about it, but we would become the second team after Chelsea to win all 3. The first team to have not bought any of those trophies as well, I must add. But it's really important that we build from where we are now, because we've had the experiences. Let's try to continue this wave of momentum that we're on, and we'll get to transfers and money and stuff soon. But Emery certainly appears to be committed, and I think he knows that this is his club. He's found different clubs like Sevilla, Villarreal for a little bit as well, but Villa certainly to me appears like he's got everything that he needs. Best league in the world, a club that backs him, continuously, and even with the restrictions. But he understands that it's nothing new to him from when he was competing against Barcelona and Real Madrid previously as well.
Yeah. How many of you were in Istanbul? Show of hands. Wow, more than I thought. How many of you bumped into us while we were there? Yeah, still quite a lot. You all know then that Matt's favourite catchphrase was, me, I'm a natural born pessimist. When do you change now that this is a new Villa and embrace that this is just what we are for now?
I'm a bit nervous about the Super Cup, to be honest. I could do with Morgan Rogers being in the team, but who knows? Dan, you and John are like young whippersnappers, aren't you? You think that we win trophies, trophies every 30 years.
Yeah.
It ain't that simple, to be honest. I've got total faith in the coach, but I don't want to get too deep into the kind of woe is us territory. The system's set up for us to not be able to sustain that on a year after year, season after season basis. And yes, having a genius in charge can book that trend, can book the trend for a couple of years, but that's really, really difficult. Your luck will run out, even if you've got somebody super.
Like the XG Virgins, was it?
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I think it's really difficult. I think this is a celebration tonight because we've actually achieved something magnificent. And I've said before, we've qualified for the Champions League twice. We should get twice the money for me, to be honest, and do it like that. But I think it's going to have to be a restructure at Villa. I think there's people who have probably reached their natural conclusion, and what a way to sign off. But the thing that's probably let us down is that Emery's probably had more joy coaching and getting a tune out of players that he's inherited than adding real quality to that squad. So I think it's going to be an interesting time. You're going to have a new manager at Liverpool, you're going to have a new manager at Manchester City, you're going to have a new permanent manager at Manchester United. Tottenham can't be as bad as they were.
They can.
Fingers crossed they are. So there's an opportunity there, but those Villa players have been going to the well so many times. I think we're just going to have to be, yes, optimistic, but also realistic that the recruitment is going to have to bring in, probably get a younger demographic of players through that dressing room, into that dressing room, but equally there's something about the core of that players that just kind of fills you with enthusiasm and warmth that they've got a real good vibe about them. So I'm not, that's a long-winded answer to your question. I'm still going to be sceptical and cynical because Villa have conditioned me a bit for me to be like this, but it's funny because John was saying, John's normally probably, I don't know, you're quite a wise head on young shoulders, aren't you? But I think John like 2 months ago said, you do realise that if we win the Europa League, this could be it. This could be the pinnacle.
Yeah.
And that's quite a kind of cautious, negative way of looking at it.
A depressing way of looking at it, yeah.
But it could be. It shouldn't be, but it could be. And I think the fact that it might be...
Enjoy the party, everyone.
Yeah. But I think the fact that it might be is more a fact that we're boxed in by what we're allowed to do, rather than the potential that this football club has, really.
Yeah, I said when we qualify for the Champions League, this might be as good as it gets in terms of a league thing.
And they were wrong.
And they were wrong, yeah, exactly. But yeah, I don't really want to talk about that. I think next season the ambition goes up again. It's let's go at least one further. It sounds mad, one further in the Champions League to the quarter-final, because as I said in the previous video, if you look at the run that Arsenal had to that final, I think we would have got to the final with that run. I really do. And had more than 20% possession in that final against PSG. Cue the Super Cup, that's going to be a clip now. But now, my ambition, or the club's ambition even, I think the fans are taken with it. I think we need to stay with perspective, though. We need to have calm heads. That if next season doesn't start well look what just happened, and look where you can end up.
Transfers as well.
Huh?
Transfers as well. Last year's window was terrible.
Yeah, and this is, we're in the very start of June now. It's going to be a long summer, and that will be dictated by what happens outgoings as much as anything else.
When we looked at Lindelof on deadline day, I was like, okay, we signed Harvey Elliott, exciting, he'll be good. Signed Jadon Sancho, he could be good. Lindelof, Man United reject. It's a fellow over there wearing a Sweden Lindelof shirt. That's how much he's grown on us over the last few months. So you can have a bad window and still have a good season, so it's obviously not the be all and end all.
But that's because of Emery.
Exactly, yeah.
And we have him as manager, so it's okay. But if we have as bad a summer as we had last summer, with Matt, there's only sometimes that can happen. But then I'm also, yeah, because Villa and the rules that they're up against, it's all very it's difficult, right? And we don't like the rules, and we think they're a joke, and it's true. But we also pay very good wages, and if you put up a table of the wages in the Premier League, I don't know where we'd come, probably around 7th, I assume. So your big six, big commercial 6 clubs, and then 7th place would probably be Villa. Spurs have had a terrible season, and Liverpool have had a off season, Chelsea as well, and that's not at all to take away from what Villa have done. However, that has helped. If those clubs recruited well and had the right culture as well in the club, then what Emery says about the 7 teams that have a better advantage than us, it's bang on. We wouldn't be in the top 7, but we have to do our bit and essentially hope that those other teams can drop down in level, should we say. The main thing is to focus on yourselves and sort of just let's find out where we end up. But you'd back Villa to be in that top 5 conversation as long as we play to our level, because in the last 3 seasons we've been, obviously we qualified for the Champions League, last season qualified for the Champions League, season before that, goal difference away from the Champions League. And I hear people talk about the Europa League and Freiburg, are they really a Europa League team and all these different things? Yeah, they are, but Villa are probably a Champions League team, and that's the difference.
And winning that Europa League gets us into the Super Cup, as we all know. The Arsenal game, I assume you both watched it, that was like a generational hate watch, wasn't it, John? That was good fun, wasn't it?
Yeah,
terrible game from Arsenal, but Gabriel missing that penalty.
It was good fun at the end. Yeah, Arsenal are very hated, aren't they, at the moment? And that is because I think largely by their fan base, but also their manager and the sort of ego that they have. It's a bit odd, but whatever. I mean, it's nice that they haven't won a European trophy, because it means that we've got 2 on them now.
Yeah, bang on. Super Cup, Matt. Can we get a sponsor there? Is that going to work? Any PR emails coming your way yet?
I've never before Googled Super Cup sponsors as enthusiastically as I have before. My son there will keep banging on about I've tried to bribe him to do revision for his A-levels by saying I'll take him to Salzburg. He's not going to do any revision anyway, but I'm going to try and get to Salzburg.
Oh yeah, we haven't spoken about that. Am I coming?
I have actually booked a room.
Have you?
Yeah, but there's going to be
Twin bed?
It's a double bed.
That's
There's going to be 27 of us in there, I think. What's people's thoughts about it? Is it a glorified Community Shield, or is it a proper European trophy?
Depends if we win it. Well, beat Barcelona, didn't we?
Let's talk transfers then. We're going to do a Q&A in the second half, but Morgan Rogers is the biggest one, I suppose. And so let's talk about a rebuild and how do you fund that. Someone like Morgan Rogers leaving would help fund that. But he's a brilliant player, and if you can keep him, you can build teams around players like Morgan Rogers. So what do you think about that saga, if you like, already? Because it will run on.
I don't know if it will run on and on. Maybe it's something that's quick. If we're going to sell Morgan Rogers, I'd sell him tomorrow rather than middle of August. You know?
Yeah.
I'm not scared of selling any Villa player. Every player has got a price, and if a club meets the price that we have for Morgan Rogers goes. Sorry to say it, but that's just the cold hard truth.
You know, when he was angling for the role of club secretary ahead of the quarter-final, when he had to remind our Lord and Master Unai Emery that 3 of his players were on bookings. That is the most club secretary answer you've ever heard. We don't want to sell Morgan Rogers unless that 100 million quid is coming in your pocket and you can have all the broccoli a man can eat. It's not. It's going into the club. Morgan Rogers, for me, is. We want to challenge again, and we know that he's clumsy on the ball, and we know that, you know, a lot of the time he needs to smooth off some of the rough edges. But I don't know. We've got to try and escape this. And I know PSR makes it really, really difficult. But I'd love us to send a statement out by saying, you know, that player that you all covet. Yeah. Guess what? He's Aston Villa's, and he can achieve everything he wants to do at Aston Villa.
But here's 100 million. Does that help?
Well, no, you won't go.
We had 100 million from the last superstar, and
we signed Emery when deal.
Yeah, and it took him 7 years and the cruciate knee ligament injury, and he got there eventually. But
you won't get 100 from anyway because there's a 20% sell-on clause, so that's one thing. But then we always talk about a rebuild, but you can't have both things, can you? And I don't want to sell Morgan Rogers, but if that's what it
sounds
takes.
Like you do.
No, I don't. I'm just giving the obvious. It's true. Like a lot of us Villa fans will say, like, oh, you know, Arsenal think they're having this on or whatever. If they pay the money, he goes. They won the Premier League. They got to the Champions League final. I hate to say it, but you know, this is a Taylor's time though. Like Grealish was in the whole end at 7 years old, but he goes. And I understand that we're much better level now, but this is football. It's okay. We have Emery. I think we'll be fine. Sell him for big money, and then you can, you know, boost the level of the squad in each position, or not each position, but across the board.
Would you pimp him out like he is, or not?
But it's realism though, isn't it? If the right money is put on the table, the player goes. And Villa will say, and they have said, oh, we don't want to sell him. Of course you don't. But if the right money is tabled, he goes. This is it. It's same as Ollie Watkins the other year. He's not for sale at any price. He will be if the price is met.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't want to sell him, but if somebody comes in with the money, you would have to consider it in a position.
We've sold, I won't go through every player that we've sold, but we've sold a lot of players who we, at the time, think are crucial, like, I don't know, Louise, Duran, maybe not crucial, but for big money. We've made a lot of money selling players, and we've, by league position, I guess you could say, get better, but for me to consistently finish in those positions, you must have got better, because if you stand still, you go backwards. We know that in the Premier League, more than probably most fan bases. So with all the experiences we've had, we have a culture now, which is the most important thing at Villa. And Morgan Rogers plays into that, because he's a humble kid, like he's in the England squad now, but I don't look at him and think that he's got a big ego about him. He's done it the hard way. He went to City, had a few knockbacks, Blackpool, Lincoln, etc. Those are the right players you want in the team, not just from a quality point of view, but from a personality point of view or a mentality. But it's the culture that allows them to flourish. That's the crucial thing, and I think that's also why some players don't do so well at Villa when you'd like them to. Maybe they're not the right fit, and that's something that we have to get right from a recruitment point of view. But selling players is not something that we need to be scared of, because it's what we've done, and we've won a trophy 3 years later.
Yeah, that is another layer of worry though, isn't it, that we might get 90 million for him, but will we spend it correctly or will we waste it and go backwards that way?
Well, we've got to buy players at some point. Last summer, we did last summer, but not many of them. The recruitment was, bar 2 players, really poor. With a bit more flexibility, money to spend, obviously that gives you more options, right? But either way, Villa can sell Rodgers, and it's not going to open up a huge war chest as such.
I think the problem you've got though, John, you sell Morgan Rodgers for 80 million.
Yeah.
You need at least 80 million to replace Morgan Rodgers.
True, but then you can buy. You could buy Welker. How much should we buy Rodgers for? 8 million to 15. You know.
Are you going to do that again then?
Well, I would argue that while we have had some bad incomings, we've also had some good ones. Pau Torres has been, I'd argue, a revelation for Villa in the last 3 years in the way that he plays. And Arna's got an injury record, which is a shame because he's definitely a good player in there. Lindelof has been a good signing. Bizot in the end has worked well as well. I know at the time it was like, well, who's this guy? But actually, I feel quite harsh when I say Lindelof is the signing of the season, because Bizot and the role he plays is really important. But it's not as if every player that we've signed has been really poor. I just think with Alabe now, he needs to prove himself. He's obviously had only one window. We've signed, Alisson, Tammy, is that it? From January, I think. He's got a chance now to prove his worth.
That is it for part 1. We're going to answer some questions in the second half after we've had a toilet break. Go and get some drinks if you want them, or some pizzas or whatever. Pizzas are good. All right, thank you very much. We'll see you in a sec.